Welcome to Duo Chat with Brittany and Cynthia, where we talk about drama shows from shows ranging from the 90s to today.
Hi everyone, I'm Brittany,
And I'm Cynthia.
and today we're finally talking about season 6, episode 1. Aren't you happy we're into season 6?
Mm-hmm.
Are you really or no?
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, 5 was very boring.
Mm-hmm.
I prefer 6 better, just so you know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but anyway, it's season 6, episode 1, titled The Kids Are All Right. Ugh, tongue twister. Aired October 2nd, 2002, and the synopsis is
On their first week back at college, Jen is shocked to find out that Graham has decided to go back to school at Boston Bay. While at Worthington, Joey experiences nothing but bad luck when she decides to enroll in an intermediate writing class taught by Professor Greg Heston, who really ridicules and embarrasses her in front of the class. And then Pacey tries to get an apartment owned by a British woman named Emma Jones. Also, Dawson is working on a new movie as assistant director with Todd Carr as the head director.
so. Did you like how it starts
Well, it
of
was
like
different.
Joey doing the narrating of like
A
what
recap.
everybody's up to?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
it was
I found
random.
it odd
Mm-hmm.
because what is the show called, Cynthia?
Dawson's Creek.
And Dawson wasn't narrating. Like, I don't like
Mm-hmm.
Dawson, we all know that, but why wasn't he the one narrating it?
I don't know.
Like you don't have this is why it should have been Joey's Creek because
Mm-hmm.
seems to be the lead in everything. Like remember the beginning of season 5? She was in like the whole episode and it was like is anybody else in it? Like Dawson had like what 5 minutes of it? I'm like and the same thing this episode he had what the last 5 minutes?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, I mean he's your lead actor, right? Or character. And yet he's not really in the episode. They're coming back for a whole season, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's barely in it, so that tells us something, right? That he's probably not going to be in the season because it feels like it. Then on top of it, they're doing narrating, and he's not the one narrating.
Right.
Like, wouldn't it have been better if like he narrated and like he was in the last 5 minutes? Because at least he was in the beginning,
Mm-hmm.
but he wasn't. I'm just like, it's becoming Joey's show.
Yeah.
It was Joey's show in season 5, and it's now Joey's show in season 6. I'm like, what happened to Dawson's Creek?
I know.
Did you now? I mean, do you have the same thoughts as me on Dawson should have narrated it, or are you okay with Joey?
Well, I didn't really think about it, but it was surprising just the whole narration of it all
Well,
because they
yeah,
never did
because
this for any other season.
yeah, or really any episode that we can really
Mm-hmm.
think of. I mean, I think they did narrating. Did they do narrating in the one where they stole a boat?
I don't know. I just remember they used Joey's line about like starting over when they did that overlap episode with different point of views. They kept using Joey's line from her scene
Hmm.
over and over
But
again.
yeah, I don't know. It's just weird because because you got like Grey's Anatomy that does the narration.
Mhm.
But who's the one that does all the narrations mostly?
Meredith.
Okay, and she's the lead. Like, you
Hmm.
don't just throw someone else to do it
Yeah.
unless now I remember I think it was like Jackson had was his last episode. I don't know. But I remember like he did a narration, but it was because it was like his story for the whole episode.
Hmm.
So it made sense. But this doesn't make sense.
Right.
Like Dawson could have done the same thing of I don't see Joey. Like I haven't talked to her all summer. Like he could have
Hmm.
done the same thing narrating it.
Yeah.
I don't get it. So anyway, that's what bothered me.
Hmm.
But we did learn that Joey went back to Cape Side and Okay, so the ending of season 5, Dawson was kind of like, hey, you can kind of like do anything sort of thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she can do anything. She goes right back to her old life.
Right.
I was like, she's back in Cape Side, working at the yacht club, right?
Mm-hmm.
And reading books. Like, that's what her life was. She
Yeah.
didn't do anything, you know, out of the ordinary.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, everyone else was doing like new cool things. She's just doing the same old, same old.
Yeah.
That's what I learned.
Mm-hmm.
And we also learned that Jen, while she was in New York, her parents are getting a divorce.
Yep.
And she's very happy about that.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, that's why her parents wanted her to go to New York.
Right.
Because remember, they haven't invited her to New York since she's been in Cape Side.
Mm-hmm.
So remember, it was kind of like weird that her parents would invite her after all these years.
Mm-hmm.
After what, 5 years? Now it's because they're getting a divorce.
Yeah. And since the scene was so quick, I'm guessing they didn't really go into hiring the same actors who played her parents previously because they just used stand-ins, so they could only show Jen's face but not theirs really
See,
quick.
I was too busy on like watching her because she's just sitting there smiling. I'm like, oh God.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like her scene was like really too quick. Now, can I just say something?
Mm-hmm.
When they get to Pacey and Audrey,
Mm-hmm.
you can totally tell that that is so fake.
Yeah, I know. I put that down too.
I
And
was
a very
like,
obvious green screen.
I was like, this was so cheaply made.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell they're in the green room and
Yeah.
it's just all the, you know, places they've been to. I'm like, and they're just sitting in the car, just nodding their heads. I'm like, oh my God, this is so
Mm-hmm.
bad.
Yeah.
Okay, that was definitely cheap, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
What was their budget for this episode? Cheap.
I know.
I mean, what was really out of the ordinary that they would have to go cheap on that scene?
I don't know. I can't think of
Nothing.
anything.
I can't think of anything like they went to Italy. You know what I mean? Like they didn't go anywhere. It's not like they did
Mm-hmm.
anything. So what would make them go cheap on that scene
I don't know. Maybe they got a budget cut.
for season 6?
Yeah, it's possible.
Have fun.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God, yeah, that was bad. I was like, no, like I wouldn't even have done that. Would you?
Right. No.
Like if you were in charge of this episode, would you have even done that scene?
Well, if anything, just like take a shot of them like on the highway or something as if they're going somewhere in LA, maybe. And that would have
Or
been
you
enough.
could have done pictures of them
Mm-hmm.
at these different places because
Yeah.
you can crop people into anything.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I would have done because she was getting postcards. So I would have just showed postcards of them. I wouldn't have done them in a car with the green screen.
Mm-hmm.
That I would not have done. That was
Right.
very bad.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and you can't even say that it's the 90s anymore because we're into the 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
So they had, I think, a lot of money. Clearly, they didn't. But yeah, I'm like, I just wouldn't have done it that way. I would have just cut that scene out and did it a
Yeah.
different way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so school year is about to start again.
Now,
And Dawson and
Why is Joey putting Dawson's picture on her whatever, her board
mm-hmm.
in her dorm room?
Just because she's I don't know, they just still kind of put pause on everything between them. So they're still
Oh,
part of each other's lives.
now are they in the same dorm room?
I don't think so. I don't know. I didn't really look.
I was like, it looks like the same dorm room.
Mm-hmm.
It couldn't even have made it a tad bit different.
Mm.
You know, like the
Mm.
bathroom's in a different place.
Yeah.
And then
Yes.
she's rooming with Audrey again.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, do you get the same roommate for the whole 4 years?
I don't know. I'm sure Audrey's dad probably pulled some strings so they could do that.
Here's 20,000 extra.
Hmm.
Alrighty.
Yeah, so we find out that Dawson and Joey didn't talk all summer.
Oh, and you know what else we found out
Mm,
in this episode?
what?
Um, not in the opening scene, but when she's talking to that professor guy, I don't know his name because I could care less about him. We learned that she got a scholarship this year.
Right. Yeah.
Because remember, we learned her freshman year she didn't. Dawson had to pay for it.
Hmm.
Like I think she got a little scholarship, but it wasn't paid for.
Yeah. And then with the theme song this season, we finally see Busy was included as a recurring member, cast member this season, finally, even
Oh,
this last one.
she wasn't in season 5.
Mm-mm.
Oh.
No. And then yeah, so we start off with Joey running to her appointment with her professor. And then she knocks over a guy because she wasn't paying attention, knocks him over completely on the ground. Yeah, because she was looking at her watch. That's why she wasn't looking. And yeah, he has attitude with her and she says she's sorry and just keeps running. And then when she does get there, she finds out that the professor himself is running late.
Oh, can
But
I just
then,
say
mm-hmm,
it's always fun to like watch the season opener, like the first episode, because you can always watch all the actors' tans.
oh,
Like
mm-hmm,
every single person had a tan going on.
mm-hmm,
I mean, even Dawson. It was like everyone had a tan. Like
mm-hmm,
you could tell what they were doing over summer.
yeah. Yes, of course, when her professor walks in, it happens to be the same guy she ran into. So that's a great start.
I mean, did you think it was going to be anything more? Or, I mean, anything less?
No. And Audrey and Pacey pull up to the school,
Ugh.
and for some reason they have a guy named Jack in the back seat who
What do you mean,
apparently
a
was,
guy?
well, I don't know, like 18-year-old.
You don't know who that is?
What do you mean? It's just a guy named Jack that Audrey apparently grew up next door to.
You don't know who that is?
No.
Oh my God, Cynthia. Hmm.
Um, isn't didn't you say something about what's his name from One Tree Hill being in this?
What?
I don't know. Who is he? I don't know.
What do you mean One Tree Hill? I don't understand what you're talking about.
When they pull up to the school, they're
Uh-huh.
in Pacey's car, and
Hmm.
then there's a guy in the back seat that was sleeping,
Uh-huh.
Jack. Yeah, who apparently was watching Audrey through his telescope. That's
Uh-huh.
how he. I don't know who he is, Brittany. Just tell me.
Jack Osborne.
I don't really know the Osbournes.
Oh,
That's his real name?
Jack? Yes, that's his real name.
Yeah,
His
I don't know.
father is a superstar.
Okay, well, that's a little bit before
Do
my time.
you
So,
know his sister, Kelly Osborne?
yeah, I know her,
Okay,
but
well,
that's
that's
it.
her brother. This was way back in 2002, clearly. And this
Mm-hmm.
was, I don't know. I mean, I don't know when the Osborne family show was on. They had a reality show.
Mm-hmm.
This must have been during that era because, I mean, again, we were kids. So, um, I don't know when the Osbournes were on.
Mm-hmm.
It was definitely before like the Kardashians and stuff. But, yeah, that must be why they put Jack in here because the show must have been going on.
Right.
Oh, but that's funny. You don't know who
Yeah,
Ozzy, Sharon, Kelly.
I know them. I just don't know him.
Ah, that's funny.
Yeah, but apparently he was watching Audrey through a telescope from his window.
Oh, now I'm getting it. That's where all the money went.
What, for his cameo?
Yeah, for his
Mm.
one little second cameo. That's where
Mm-hmm.
all the money went for the episode.
Yeah.
That's why Audrey and Pacey's pre-scene, with them driving in the car was so poor was because they had Jack Osborne in the car.
Yeah.
Now I'm
And
getting it.
and then for the first
Duh.
time and then for the first time in the show, we have someone curse with a few bleeps to it.
Who?
The same guy.
Oh.
Because Audrey tells him to get out of the car and calls him her for looking at her through the telescope. So that's when he gets up because he's woken up, and that's when he cusses,
Mm.
which was weird to hear because these days they're not usually bleeped out. Because most
Yeah.
shows that language are on streaming services, and that's not required unless they're just muted out. But nonetheless,
I don't know. I was also looking at Pacey's car and it seemed like it needed to be washed.
oh, I didn't know that.
I was like, why does it seem like it needs to be washed?
Mm-hmm. What I didn't notice is that Jack's dad also looked at Audrey through the telescope, apparently, because she said, "I'm going to tell your dad for doing that." And that's when he said that he's seen what he's seen. So that's disturbing because she was like a teenager, like a grown man. So they're just both wrong looking at her like that. And then he leaves and we never see him again, of course. And then Audrey's worried that now that the vacation's over and they're back in the real world, they may not make it like Sid and Nancy, Bonnie and Clyde, and
Dawson and Joey, really.
yeah.
Okay, in
So
front of Pacey.
hmm
Who would write that?
I don't
Like,
know.
Pacey is right there.
Hmm
I don't get it. I don't know. But I didn't like it. I'm like, first of all, you're gonna compare. I mean, I don't know who those other people are, but you're gonna compare them with like Dawson and Joey. Come on now. I don't even know who they are, but Dawson and Joey only made it like a month here and a month there.
hmm
They didn't
Right.
go for like years. So let's give that up.
hmm
Same thing with this episode.
Right. Well, Sid and Nancy are from a movie from the 80s, and then Bonnie and Clyde are the criminal duo who did a lot
Yeah.
of bank jobs.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah. I didn't know who this Sid and Nancy were, but
so I don't know why she brought Bonnie and Clyde because I don't really know about Sid and Nancy, but Bonnie and Clyde aren't really the people to compare yourself to. But
well, people do. Like when they're friends and stuff, they're like, who is Bonnie? Like, we're Bonnie and Clyde. People
hmm
do.
yeah, it's just the part two where they were actually killed at the end of their little chase scene with the cops and everything. So
Well, and then you throw Dawson and Joey in, and it's like they don't
hmm
compare to Bonnie and Clyde.
yeah, so just three random pairings.
Like Dawson and Joey are so awkward and annoying and boring that you
Hmm
don't compare them to Bonnie and Clyde.
Right. And now apparently Audrey is avoiding going to class. She says that nothing happens the first day. So, she just they talk about Pacey's new job because apparently her dad pulled strings to get him a job at this firm. Um, where was he working at before this? Sorry, I forget. It was a
Pacey was
restaurant. Oh
working
no,
at that
security
restaurant.
guard. Oh,
Well,
restaurant.
yeah, the restaurant,
Security.
then the security guard for the
Okay.
summer, but not really the
Mm-hmm.
summer because he ended up going to California.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
I'm guessing that Audrey's parents paid for him to be off all summer.
maybe, yeah.
I mean, well, he didn't have any money. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah, he's probably just living off of the money that Audrey had from her parents.
well, because remember, he said, do you have money for gas money?
Mm-hmm.
So clearly he has no money. So
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but like I would not be paying for my daughter's boyfriend for the summer. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Go get yourself a job. You're an adult now, right? You're not in
Mm-hmm.
college. Go get yourself a job.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm sorry. No. Like, I don't care if you're Pacey or not. The answer is no. Like,
Right.
even if I had money, no, you're not gonna live off me for the summer.
Mm-hmm.
You're not in high school. You're a grown adult now.
Mm-hmm.
So this is what I didn't understand was why Pacey is now gonna live off of Audrey for the summer. Nope. And I'm sorry, but does that look good in your eyes? Like showing up with no money and nowhere to go, and you're the boyfriend.
No.
Does that look good for the parents? Like, you don't
Mm-mm.
want to present yourself to her parents that way.
Right.
And you had a summer job, but you gave it up.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be like, why? I'm sorry, but I would have questions for him. And clearly they didn't give him any hard times because the dad is going to just give him a job.
Right.
Again, weird because I would not be that nice.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'm just mean, but I'm sorry. But if you're dating my daughter, you better have a job. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, her parents don't really force Audrey to be serious about school or have a job or
No,
anything.
but you would think that they would want him to have a job.
Maybe, yeah.
Like
Unless,
then you as the man would be paying for my daughter, right?
mm-hmm.
It's like clearly they don't have high expectations for her, like she's ever going to get a job,
Mm-hmm.
but they would, I would think, have expectations for him, like someday we're going to pawn you back to, she's like, let's be honest, Audrey's probably gonna marry some rich guy, like, because
Mm-hmm.
clearly they have no expectations for her. So wouldn't you be like, now listen, what kind of job you got? Like, I don't know. Like when you think of like the Gilmores, it's like that's what you would think.
Mm-hmm.
Like they didn't like low lifes. You know what I mean? Like that didn't have jobs, like
Yeah.
boyfriends. It's like that's what I would think of Audrey's family.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
Yep.
throwing me off that they just don't care that Pacey doesn't have a job.
Yeah, well, they're from California. I think that makes a difference too.
Why you think people in California don't care?
Well, they probably just know that Audrey doesn't really need to depend on a guy for money because she's going to have her own money from them. So,
Eh, I have issues with that too.
and then we see Joey in that meeting with her professor, and he notices that her birthday is tomorrow. That's the first time it's been brought up.
Uh, I have issues with that.
Mm,
Okay, nowhere in the previous season five or previous 5 seasons did we learn that Joey's birthday was at the beginning of the school year.
right.
We saw the pilot episode wasn't the opening of the show, and nowhere did they say it was Joey's birthday.
Mm-hmm.
Nowhere in season 1 did we see it was Joey's birthday.
Right.
Like, I don't get why. In none of the openings was it Joey's birthday.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, let's make it Joey's birthday in the season 6 premiere. That
Yeah.
threw me off. I was like, okay, so Joey's basically now the lead, right? But
Mm-hmm.
previously, she's been kind of number 2, right? It's been Dawson and then Joey.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you have made it a point in the first 5 seasons to make it her birthday?
Yeah, maybe.
And yet, it's her birthday all of a sudden. No, I don't believe it. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then Joey's looking for a job, so her professor says that there's an opening in the English department as a research assistant. So Joey says that sure, maybe she'll think about it. And then Joey did sign up for his literature class, and it is an advanced class for sophomores, so another advanced class that she's taking in her early years of college. And so he doesn't know if he should let her in the class until she reads the book, The Last Exit to Brooklyn. But he only gives her until the first class, which is today at 3 o'clock. We don't know what time it is now, but still, she only has some hours until she needs to read the book.
Um, do professors get to pick if you're in the class or not?
Yeah,
Oh,
especially if they're advanced like that. And she's only a sophomore if it's like for juniors or seniors or whatever. So
well, then why would she even be able to be in it? I mean, shouldn't the seniors and juniors have filled it up first?
maybe, but she already took that advanced writing class that has something to show for her that she can do it. So, and that's why she's meeting him to talk about it with him. And then we are at Graham's house, and Jen asks Graham if she notices anything different about her. Graham says no, and Jen says that she's happy for the first time now with her parents' divorce and everything.
Do you know what's weird that Graham's never brought up the divorce? Like,
Yeah,
she didn't make any comment about her daughter's divorce.
maybe because she knew it was for the best.
I know she didn't even say that.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't say, like, I agree, Jen. I'm so happy your mom is getting out. Like, I don't know. She just didn't say anything. I'm like, that's your daughter. I just don't get it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't you think, like, if that was like your situation, your grandma would say something to you? Like, I agree. Just, I even agree. Like,
Mm-hmm.
just, she said nothing. She'd like, it went over her head.
Yeah.
I didn't like it.
And we find out later that it was for she had something else in her mind. That's why she didn't bring it up too. Because she's trying to tell Jen something, but she didn't want to like ruin her happy streak she had going on.
Oh, yeah, because it definitely would have ruined it.
Mm-hmm. And then the phone rings and it's Clifton, so she's on the phone. And during this time, Jen helps Jack and his, I guess I would say, because we don't see him later, hook up out of the house so Grams doesn't see.
Well, and apparently that's what Jack's been doing all summer.
Mm-hmm. Because him and what's his name?
I
Eric
don't know.
broke up. Yeah, Eric broke up with him apparently after the whole summer together. I guess with the new school year, even though it's not like they won't run into each other at school. And then Pacey is in the girls' dorm, and Audrey wants someone to crash there for a few days. So he tells Joe, like, don't let Audrey let me stay. Like, don't let you let me stay. Like, give Audrey a hard time about it because he doesn't want to be with Audrey 24/7 like that.
You know, I'm loving that.
Mm-hmm. Especially when Joey was coming up with the reasons why he shouldn't stay with him.
Um, but I would have said the first thing. He's my ex.
Yeah.
That'd been my first thing and my only thing.
Mm-hmm.
And as the roommate slash friend, right? You would be like, got it.
Right.
Like, you don't want to stay with your ex.
Mm-hmm.
But again, they don't really put that in there. Like, that just would have been the number one rule.
Mm-hmm. And then Joey tells Audrey that they could celebrate tonight. And Audrey, was like, "Oh, you're celebrating me returning to Worthington." And Joey's like, "Yeah, because there's nothing else that we would be celebrating." So she meant her birthday.
See, I think the reason why Pacey didn't say anything about her birthday was because he knows it's not her birthday.
Right.
What do you mean, right?
Well, it's just because you usually don't celebrate your birthday the night before. So,
No, I'm saying he knows it's not her birthday because her birthday is not the beginning of the school year.
oh, yeah. And then
I'm
Joey
sorry. That's
starts,
the only
yeah.
thing I can get because Pacey would know it's her birthday
Mm-hmm.
and he would celebrate her birthday. Like,
Yeah.
the writing. I'm
Mm-hmm.
sorry. I'm sure you hate when I bring up the writing of how bad it is. But when it's terrible writing like this, I gotta criticize it. You can't have Pacey ignore her birthday. It just doesn't happen.
Well, he didn't really pay much attention to her after the robbery either. So,
Yeah, but he has cared about her since. I mean, they're still friends. He would
mm-hmm.
know her birthday. I'm sure he knows when Jen's birthday is.
Mm-hmm.
And he dated for Joey for like a year. So, and that
Mm-hmm.
was the love of his life. So he knows when her birthday is. Come on now. Don't tell me he doesn't.
And then Joey starts reading that book until the phone rings and it's Dawson. He leaves a message saying that he wants to meet her for coffee at 2 o'clock. And then Joey debates about going, but then she ends up getting off the phone. And then Jack is playing a video game when Pacey walks in asking how he looks in his suit. He wants to make a good impression at the firm to impress Audrey's dad and Audrey.
Now did you know it was Jack's suit?
Yeah, because Pacey doesn't have one.
Oh, come on now. Pacey doesn't have one.
Well, he's been moving around a lot too, so
What do you do? Just give
space
rid of
wise.
all of his old suits?
Well, what did he wear to prom? Wasn't well, I don't think they said a rental or something. I don't know.
Must have
Yeah.
been.
hmm And then they get into talking about having their own place because Jack doesn't like having to sneak out the guys that he's seen at the house either.
Oh yeah, and what did they say about Graham's house? It's kind of
Just,
they had
I
a
don't know.
word for it. Yeah.
I don't think I put that down, but yeah.
They didn't like it. It wasn't for them.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't their vibe.
Yeah.
But I'm like, Gramps has her own, like she's in a relationship now. Like,
Mm-hmm.
oh yeah, because that was the thing was, remember she had a phone call and it was Mr. Smalls.
Mm-hmm.
Like she's still seeing him. So it's like she's got her own love life.
Yeah.
What does she care what the boys are doing?
Mm-hmm. And then we go to Jen's class. This is probably the first time we see her in class.
Oh my
And
God,
then,
when I'm sorry, but when Jack and Jen were in the hallway,
mm-hmm.
I was like, oh my God, they actually attend college.
Right.
All
Yeah.
season five. Nope. Now in
Mm-hmm.
season six, we're seeing them in college. So weird.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so when Jen sits down, she turns to the person in front of her and asks if this is art history. But then when she turns and actually sees who the person is, it's Grams.
Okay, then
And
when
she,
she freaks out and everybody looks, I was like, oh my
yeah,
God, Jen, you're acting
yeah,
like that's a killer.
mm-hmm. Yeah, so it turns out that Grams is taking that class also because she was inspired after taking one of Clifton's classes over the summer.
Okay, and I'm sorry, but how do you walk down and not know that's your grandma?
Yeah, I know.
I don't
At
get it.
least when you like get close to the seat and sit down, yeah,
You don't know who's sitting right next to you.
right.
Like, okay, when you sit down, don't you kind of like look in that row at least?
Mm-hmm.
At least the first couple seats that are next to you when you sit
Yeah.
down?
Mm-hmm.
How do you not? Like, that's just being aware. Like,
Yeah.
Jen, I guess, just isn't aware of her surroundings or she's blind. I don't know. But I'm just like, how do you not know who's sitting right next to you?
Yeah, well, Joey was the same with a lot of stuff too.
Because, like, when you sit down, you got like your
Mm-hmm.
books or notebook or something that it's just how, like the way you sit down, like, you have to see who's right next to you.
Mm-hmm.
And you would see that
Yeah.
that's your grandma.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Yeah, so Jen tells Grams that she should take a little math class or something because she heard that using part of that brain helps the elderly prevent the early onset of Alzheimer's. So of course that was uncalled for. Grams had a shocked face. She said that.
Well, and then apparently Grams is taking college, college class because she went to Mr. Small's summer school.
Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah.
I was like, what?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. So
Okay.
just
But you know how codependent Jen is of Grams, right?
mm-hmm.
You would think that she'd be happy that Grams is in college with her.
Right, because I guess Jen just didn't know because she was with her parents. So and Grams didn't tell her like I guess they didn't keep in contact very well during the summer.
No, but I'm just saying how she needs Grams all the time.
Mm-hmm.
It just was kind of weird that she wouldn't be happy that Grams is in college. Like, remember, I was kind of like, oh, is she going to bring Grams to college with her? And it's like, now she's mad because Grams is in the college. I'm like, huh? You should be happy. You're so codependent on grandma that, you know, I just thought you'd be
Mm-hmm.
happy.
Yeah, it's just that she's taking her classes that she's not happy about.
Yeah, but I thought she would bring grandma to college and sit in
Mm-hmm.
class with her.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so Pacey finds an apartment. A British woman named Emma lives there. She's kind of more, um, I guess punk rock goth, maybe. That was a popular thing in the 2000s. This motorcycles annoying me and my neighbors. Yeah, so Pacey is trying to convince her to let him and his friend Jack move there, and he's trying
She
to
was
like,
funny.
yeah, because she's looking for, of course, two other women to live with her, not two men. And Pacey's like, I have a girlfriend, so I won't be interested. And then my friend Jack's gay, but she pushes him out anyways, so that was funny. And then the next scene after that, Jen's in class again with Jack, and then that's when they um
Yeah, they see
talk
the
about
well, they see the professor too.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
And
But it was
then
funny
yeah.
too how Jen was looking around to make sure Grams wasn't there either.
Yeah, but then when she sees the professor, she was like, "Oh, like, because she's like, oh, he's cute. Is he gay?" And it's like, "Oh, is
Mm-hmm.
your gator on?"
Yeah.
It's like, "Oh my God." And then
Yeah,
they're
that was
betting
her
if he's
first thought.
gay.
Mm-hmm.
And then apparently he's got a wife.
Yeah. And I didn't think they had classes about pop culture back then either. That seemed really early on for that, but apparently they did.
Mm-hmm.
And then yeah, then we see Joey waiting for Dawson at the coffee shop. It's 2:50 and he's still not there, so she has to have her class at 3 o'clock, so she leaves.
Oh yeah, and then she's late.
Yeah. Yeah, so Joey's late for her class.
And it was so embarrassing. Like literally everyone's in there just looking at her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then the professor makes it worse by, letting her know there's more open seats when she does choose a seat.
By the way, I would never go
Mhm.
back to the class.
Oh,
Would
yeah.
you?
Yeah, I guess I would, yeah.
Like how much more embarrassing things could he do?
Yeah, I know.
He was doing it left and right because she sits down and then he's in a discuss. Wait, no. He doing the discussion first and he called on her, or was it phone that went off?
The phone.
Yeah. So then
Yeah.
the phone goes off and everyone's looking, of course, which is kind of funny.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, it's hers. And
Mm-hmm.
which I already knew just because why would it be anybody else's?
Right.
And so then he takes the phone because she didn't want to turn it off or whatever, or she want to answer it.
Yeah.
Because she said it would be just
Rude.
yeah,
Yeah.
and yeah, disruptive. And I was like, you've already done that.
Yeah.
Um, but it was weird because she said she didn't know how to like turn it off or something.
I don't
Like,
know. Yeah.
how do you not know how to like turn your volume down or turn it off? Like, I don't get that, but okay.
Yeah.
Like, it's just a flip phone. It's just a button. You power off.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, Joey, how long have you had? She's acting like she's had this phone for like a day,
Mm-hmm.
and she's had it for probably a year.
Yeah. But then
Um,
the professor answers it.
yeah, and of course it's Audrey,
Mm-hmm.
the worst person to actually be on the other line or on the other. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
because Audrey should have known that Joy would be in class anyhow. So,
yeah, but she's
but
only into herself, remember? Because she doesn't even know it's Joey's birthday.
yeah. And then she only called to, I hope this isn't getting picked up. It's so loud, the motorcycle.
No, I don't hear anything.
Okay, good. Yeah, Audrey's only calling Joy to tell her about Dawson, how he couldn't make it, but he wants to meet them later at Hell's Kitchen at 8:30. So that was it. And then the professor brings up that book he wanted her to read before class. And of course, she didn't get a chance to finish reading it. And then she was waiting for Dawson. So that
Well,
took up
no.
some of her time.
Who would? She only had a couple hours. Who would read the whole book?
I don't know. A lot of people can be fast readers.
Yeah, but what if you have other classes in between?
Well, yeah, it didn't seem like Joey had any though. So,
No, but I'm saying somebody else may have. Like, I don't know. It
yeah.
just seemed weird, but
Mm-hmm.
okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, usually professors don't do that.
This one
He
does
just,
because he's a.
yeah, he just wanted to mess with her. And then we meet another character named Eddie because he laughs at Joey's comment about the book of what she did read. So the professor asks him to elaborate on what he was talking about. So he does. And, the professor tells him that he has one up on her. And then Eddie winks at Joey from across the room. So he's going to be part of this episode, at least, or something with Joey. And then at Hell's Kitchen, Pacey is playing pool when Emma, who manages to catch it because it went off the table, and she works there and is already annoyed with Pacey.
Well, and then I'm sure too, it was like, remember, because he said that he didn't have a job.
Hmm.
And I'm sure
Yeah.
she's probably like, while she's at work, she's probably like, oh, you're just playing pool instead of getting a
Yeah.
job.
Hmm. Yeah.
Like,
Because,
because it
yeah.
crossed my mind if I was her.
Hmm. Yeah. Because that was another reason why she didn't want him to move in because he didn't have a steady income. But
Hmm.
he's trying again.
Yeah, this is my girlfriend. And then Audrey's like, I don't want you living with her because she's pretty.
Hmm.
Uh,
But she said hot. Yeah. And then, Lucy tells, no one's, her to meet Jack. So he introduces him. And Jack is eating the whole time. So he's kind of talking with his mouth full. But Pacey has Jack confirm that he is still gay
yeah, but it
and
was
that,
funny because she goes, he doesn't look like it.
yeah, Because
I was
apparently
like,
gay,
well, that's true.
yeah, well, apparently people
Uh,
expect gay guys to look more femme, so yes, but Emma says that they're still not getting the apartment. And then Joey shows up. So it must be around 8:30 at this point when Dawson's supposed to be there. And then some time has gone by. Joey's waiting for her son. We play in the jukebox. And that's when her and Pacey have a little moment over there.
you
You
know
want to talk?
me.
Yeah, you want to talk about that?
I just love these two.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. Any scene I can get with Pacey and Joey, I want.
Right.
And so yes, so then he brings up why he doesn't want, like why he wants to have his own place and why he oh my God, but when he brings up him and Joey
Oh
and
yeah.
their summer together, I was like, oh my God. Like for the first time, we're gonna talk about Pacey and Joey's love life
Mm-hmm.
as a couple. Um, and it was so cute because he was like, when we came back, we just didn't want it to end. And she was like, well, that was just one of us.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh God, Joey, yeah, that's because all you wanted to talk about was Dawson when you came back.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, it was so cute because he still wanted to like be in like the love stage of like that summer and with Joey. And it's just not that same way with Audrey. Um, and because they partied enough and he doesn't like the party girl.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I just thought it was so cute. And I didn't like what Joey said.
About what?
Well, like as her friend, like be nice to her, whatever, I'll beat you up or whatever.
Yeah, she said if he breaks her heart, she'll break his face.
I know, but that's the love of her life, so shut up.
Yeah, well, she's still friends with Audrey, so
Don't care. Like I would be like, oh, cool, it's not working out. What?
yeah. Well, as we can see, Joey doesn't have feelings for Pacey anymore. So,
We don't know that yet.
well, that's why she gave them her blessing. So,
Um, but yes, I just thought it was so cute that he brought up their past and clearly he just can't handle Audrey and
hmm
their partying.
yeah.
See, that's the thing is like Pacey, his past has been the smart girls that are, into studying and he's not into the party girls. And if he is, it's like the one night stands
hmm
or the only couple months. Remember, wasn't it Melanie for like just the summer or whatever? And that was it. It's like he's not interested in the party girls for life.
hmm
That's just not his thing. So clearly, there's going to be an end to Audrey and Pacey,
yeah.
which I'm good with. I mean, even if they brought Andy back and put at this point and put him with or Andy and Pacey, like I'd be okay with that. You know what I mean?
hmm
Just somebody to bring back reality to the show.
hmm
Because Audrey and Pacey are not doing it for me. They can't be the it couple right now of the show.
Right. And then we find out a little bit more about Dawson, his
Okay,
summer.
but what did you like when she said bite me and he did?
Well, yeah, I expected it. Yeah.
Hmm.
But then we find out about Dawson. He's working on a movie with Todd, and then Oliver was there too for a minute. But
How'd you like when Joey said, "Who's that?"
mm,
And they
did she say
said,
that?
yeah, Joey said, "Who is that?" And they said, well, the guy who fired him.
Oh, Todd. I thought you meant Oliver. Right.
And it was like, really, Joey? You haven't been paying attention to Dawson's life, have you?
Well, I don't know. He didn't really talk about that with Joey, did he? I don't
Well, I'm
think
like,
he
he,
did.
he talked about it apparently with others.
Even if he did,
Like
I don't think he
everybody
said
else
Todd.
but it's like everybody else at the table knew but Joey. And it was like, you
Well, she
guys
hasn't talked
aren't,
to him.
yeah, but they're not soulmates.
Yeah, so she just didn't know.
They don't know what's going on in each other's lives.
Mm-hmm.
That's just that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Oliver, apparently he hated LA, so he left. And with the note, he's told Dawson, I'll see you in Hell, Leary. So things ended on a bad note with them. And then Joey walks away to get her song on the jukebox again, and that's when a guy, you know, messes with her, and Emma walks in and, you know, offers Joey a job because she handled herself well with that guy. And Joey says she'll think about it.
Oh, by the way, I I couldn't imagine working with both Oliver and who was it, that Todd guy?
Mm-hmm.
Like, because they're too similar. Like, you
Yeah.
need somebody sane
Mm-hmm.
if you're working with somebody insane. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like, I just couldn't imagine working with both of them at the
Right.
same time.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been really horrible. I'm glad
Yeah.
Oliver left because otherwise, ooh, could you imagine that?
Right. And then Pacey says he's going home, but Audrey doesn't want him to leave. He says she doesn't like this new Pacey and says he's tired of driving, after driving 3,000 miles in 3 days, which is a hell of a lot of miles. And then,
Okay,
you know,
but like and he also like needs his sleep because he's going into
hmm
the interview or whatever tomorrow, like, or first day, whatever it is. And it's like, what? You're not a supportive girlfriend. Like, wouldn't you want your boyfriend to be prepared and ready to go tomorrow morning?
hmm
Like,
yeah,
I feel like most girlfriends would be like, it'd be the opposite. It'd be like, you're not partying tonight. You're gonna go home and sleep.
hmm
Not Audrey. She's not that girlfriend.
yeah, because
This
she
is what
even
I mean.
follows him.
She is a bad girlfriend. She is a bad influence on him. Like every girlfriend he's had previously, it's like, you know,
hmm
it was like, no, you're not going to party. It was like, so Audrey's just, ugh, I can't stand her with Pacey because she's not a good influence. She
Right.
wanted him to not work all summer. Which was really bad because that boss then could be like, don't hire him.
hmm
And so that wasn't good. Um, and then now she doesn't even want him to get a good night's sleep. She wants him to party, right before he goes in tomorrow. No, bad, bad, bad.
hmm Yeah,
And
so
this is, and see, this is his future. This is the difference between Pacey and Audrey. Pacey is not
hmm
in college. It's
right.
not like he's going to college. He needs to work right now.
hmm
And I mean, what's he gonna do? Live off Grams and, live at her house and then live off Audrey? Like, no. Like he's trying to be, realistic.
hmm
And he knows that he needs to work. And Audrey just, they're two different people. And this is why they don't work together. And she's so annoying at this point because she needs to be caring about him.
hmm Yeah, well, she takes Carrie as in get a room key to to a hotel for them that night. And then
Ugh.
she makes things worse by saying like they don't have to rest right away, do they? So she wants to have sex instead of letting him sleep.
You know what she should
And
have
then,
done? Just given
mm,
him the key and she goes back to
mm,
her dorm
yeah,
so that he can sleep.
hmm And then Joey talks about her work options with Jen and Jack, and saying how the usual practical um choice that Joey would make would be working with uh the English professor, but she's
I,
thinking that, mm,
I kind of this threw me off.
why?
Why is Joey's like, why would they think that her choice would be working with the professor or whatever?
Because
Like,
it will,
Joey's always worked as a waitress.
right.
Like, my thing would be she'd work as a waitress at Hell's Kitchen. She wouldn't,
Mm-hmm.
that news would be her working as the
Research
professor.
assistant.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that to me would be throwing it off. Like, her going back to her old roots, it's always been her being a waitress.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was weird that they were like, well, we know you and this is what you would do. And I'm like, verse being a waitress? What?
Well, working with a professor would look good for her college credits, so that's
Yeah, but it
why.
would, but they said knowing you. And it's
Hmm.
like, huh? It again, it didn't make any sense to me that that knowing her, she wouldn't be a waitress. Like that's just what she's done.
Well, yeah, well, she never had an opportunity to do something for school, so now that she does, you would think that she would take the opportunity to make her grades better and everything like that. So,
Yeah, not me.
and then Jen and Jack are about to leave the bar, but Joey stays because she's waiting for Dawson, of course.
And Jen says, that's cute.
Hmm. And then, so Joey waits and waits and waits, and then when she finally walks out of the bar and across the street, that's when a cab pulls up on the other side, and it's Dawson, and he sees Joey right away, so he calls her name. So they end up going back to the bar and chatting and catching up a bit. And then that's when Dawson tells her that he got the chance to speak to Steven Spielberg on the phone because he called for Todd. So it's just a real quick second. He just said, "Hold on a second, please," while he gave the phone to Todd.
And it was weird that she kind of criticized that.
Yeah, but like he,
What else was
yeah,
he supposed to say?
like he didn't have like 5 minutes to chat with him. He had to, talk to Todd. So
Well, and it's like, okay, so like you're Steven Spielberg and someone gets on the phone and like they're like, "Oh, I'm such a fan," blah, blah. It's like you'd probably hang up.
yeah,
Like,
and then Todd would
I'm
be mad.
sorry, but it's like I just feel like, if you're that well, like I don't know, well known and stuff, like you'd probably just hang up. Like, why is this kid talking to me?
Hmm.
Like you're not professional. And
Yeah.
so like that's my thing is like what else was he supposed to say? Like being professional would be, hold on one moment.
Hmm.
It wouldn't
Yeah.
be, I'm such a fan and blah, 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 blah. I want to be just like you. No, that would not be professional, Joey.
Right.
So it was weird that she criticized that because it's like Dawson did the right thing.
Hmm.
Because when he said, well, I didn't have time to think, and it's like, no, you did the right thing.
Hmm.
He probably would have hung up. And then you would have ruined whatever opportunity that Todd guy had.
Yeah.
And then the Todd guy would have made your life a living hell.
Or fire him again. Yeah.
Yeah, but then he would have made it don't ever hire Dawson. Like he's so unprofessional.
Hmm.
Like it could have been, it just would have been, the domino effect. And it would have been really bad if he would have spoke any more to Steven
Hmm.
Spielberg.
Yeah.
That whole thing of you just don't do that. I don't care if he's your idol or not.
Hmm.
Professionalism means something.
Yeah.
So I didn't like that Joey said that. I was like, Joey, you're not being real because realistically, you're not going to say that.
Hmm.
Now, if he was calling for you, then, and you actually were in a conversation, that's one thing. But he wasn't. He was calling for someone else.
Hmm.
And you're not going to be on the phone just waiting for him and listening to hear someone go on and on, you know?
Hmm. Yeah. So they discussed about how they didn't talk to each other over summer and they were really busy and they thought about it, but they didn't end up doing so.
Because they're
Dawson
not
tells
soulmates. That's why they don't care.
Dawson did tell Joey that he did think about her all the time. And he didn't like want to ruin the feeling that they had and how they left off about them telling each other that they had, they could do anything with their life. So they just had to go out and do it and get it. And then Joey tells Dawson that living his dream agrees with him because he, says, yeah, like fetching lattes and having Todd's course detail qualifies as living the dream. And Joey says she knows what he knows what she means because he's finally like working on the set and everything. Like he figured it out. School wasn't working for him at California or Boston. We don't, yeah, because whatever happened to Boston, he
I
was
guess
supposed
he
to go to,
dropped out.
yeah, film school there, but then that didn't work out because he met Oliver and then they did the movie and then school was never mentioned again. But
Nothing like paying money to another school and then dropping out again.
yeah.
Um, okay, but then the song comes on that she's been waiting for.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah, 3 hours later.
she brings up how it reminds her of him. Blah, blah.
Yeah, that moment that they had in the rain. when they had to get to the car quickly. His mom was waiting for them, and he held her hand just to get across the street, and she just said how she thought about that 10 seconds or so when they were holding hands and they got in the car because the song was playing in the car when they got in.
Yep. Then he dances with her. And I was
Mm-hmm.
like, they're so awkward even when they're dancing together.
I thought it
I'm
was
sorry.
cute.
But after 6 years, you gotta stop being awkward.
Mm-hmm. And then Dawson walks her back to her dorm. And since Audrey's with Pacey tonight, Joey invites Dawson to stay because it's late. So she doesn't want him going back to his hotel or whatever.
Who can sleep in Andre's bed?
Mm-hmm. And then when Joey does come out of the bathroom after getting unready or ready for bed, he's already asleep. He's had a long day, I guess, with Todd and everything, and then getting to Boston because he got there from California, I believe. But then he does wake up a little bit later and asks what time it is, and he can't wait in the morning, so he changes the clock to midnight. But when he asked her for the time, did you notice that she said that it's 5 of 12?
Yeah.
I've never heard time being described like that.
Well, what's 5 of 12?
From him moving the time to midnight, it looked like he moved the clock from I think 11:35 or something like that, but I think she meant like maybe 5 minutes to 12, I'm thinking.
Okay, but we're but that's my confusion is okay, so the group was out
Mm-hmm.
late, right?
Yeah.
They all eventually went back. So I'm guessing it was like 10 o'clock. And then Dawson comes home, or, then he gets there. And then they're spending extra, like, I would just think it'd be like 1 in the morning. Like, they really got in the dorm room by midnight. That doesn't make any sense.
Well, he was supposed to be there at 8:30, but then people, they all left, so I'm thinking like an hour maybe or so later, and then
Yeah, but
Joey
that's
stayed
close to 10
longer.
o'clock that they all stayed because they were all enjoying
Mm-hmm.
themselves. And
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Then he shows up, and then they're staying there later, Dawson and Joey,
Mm-hmm.
and catching up. So you mean to tell me it took them to catch up for like an hour? That doesn't make
I
any sense.
guess. Yeah.
This is what I mean is I thought it'd be like late into the night
Mm-hmm.
and the fact that it's not even midnight, I'm like, right, it's not midnight. That's just bad. Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Writing
Well, anyways, he moved the clock to midnight, so it'd be her birthday because he couldn't wait to give her gift, and it's a snow globe.
or
Um,
non-birthday.
yeah, of Hollywood, a snow globe of Hollywood as like a souvenir you'd get at a gift shop. So I thought he would put like a little bit more thought into a gift like that, and not just like a souvenir thing you can get anywhere.
Here you go. I found this in the airport.
Yeah, so I was
It's your
kind of
birthday.
surprised. Yeah, be more like it's a little bit more thoughtful than that. Yeah,
Yeah,
so he tells her happy birthday.
especially what was about to happen after.
Mm-hmm.
Should have put more effort in.
Yeah, and Dawson says that he wouldn't be living his dream if it weren't for her. Because he keeps finding himself in surreal situations, and every time he thinks, what would Joey think if she could see him right now? And he thinks of everyone having someone who challenges them and makes them shoot for something just beyond their reach. And he says that Joey's that person for him. And Dawson says maybe they didn't talk all summer, and maybe they'll find themselves talking less and less as time goes on, and life gets more in the way, but he doesn't feel like it because she's with him wherever he goes, and he tells her happy birthday again, and she hugs him. I thought that was sweet, but after they hugged, it was for a good while. And then that's when you could see that they were kind of building up to that moment, and then they kiss. And then for, I guess, any fans who had been sticking around for them since season 1 or 2, like they finally have that night together. So, yeah.
Would have been a really bad. Oh my God. Could you imagine being a Dawson and Joey fan?
Yeah.
It's like for 6 whole years, it was like,
Right.
oh my
Yep.
God.
So that
Oh
was the
my
end of
God.
the episode.
But okay, can we talk about that? Let's talk about that.
Okay.
Okay, you went from oh so happy, hug, hug, and then really, I mean, there was no motivation at all. It was it was so bad. It wasn't. They should have made it a little bit more romantic instead of hug, hug, and then all of a sudden, oh wait, now we're starting to feel something. What? And it's like this is so bad. And then I'm sorry, but then the kissing happened and I was over. I'm like, oh, I can't with Dawson and Joey's kissing. I cannot. No, it was weird. I'm sorry, but that compared to Pacey and Joey's night, nope. There is no, you can't even compare that. That was bad. Awkward.
I thought it was okay.
My awkward radar was going off. I'm like, this is so awkward. It's so bad. It's worse than their first kiss. It's bad. They
No,
seemed so awkward to me
I didn't see that. Seemed better
compared
than their
to
first kiss.
compared to Pacey and Joey's. This is so awkward. I was like, nope. This is why I can't be a fan of these two. They're so awkward.
Yeah, well, I thought it was fine.
I didn't. It was bad. So yeah, that happened.
Mm.
I'm glad we saw nothing more.
Mm. So
What?
then your highs and lows, probably that,
Uh,
right, for your low.
yep. Then my high would be Pacey and Joey scene. But my low was also Audrey being not supportive or anything to Pacey.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then she couldn't figure out why she was so like why he was being so distant with her. Like
Mm-hmm.
she's just too hyper and not in a good way. Remember like how Andy came in kind of like happy and like excited, but like in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
Like it matched. It matched Pacey. This does not
Mm-hmm.
match. This is just over it, like overdoing it. But anyway, so just her just not getting it, the hint, was bothering me. And again, not putting him first was bothering me. So yeah, that was also bad.
Mm-hmm.
And also I didn't like the scenes in the class with the teacher just confronting Joey like that. Like
Right.
there's other kids in the class and you're just gonna confront her. Like it's just weird.
Mm. Yeah.
So I don't know, there was kind of a lot of lows for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my low was the classroom because he really didn't need to isolate her like that from everybody else and just continuously picking on her. And, because he set her up to not really do well with the whole book assignment the last second. Um,
Yeah, I mean
because
that was already a fail.
yeah, because like he expected her to read, like have already known all the books that was on the syllabus, but it's impossible to, do that unless you just read every book you see
Well,
and
and aren't
giving,
you supposed to read them as you're going?
yeah.
Like
So
these are
it
the
just,
books we're reading in the class?
hmm yeah. So it's just really an unfair advantage for
Well, and it's
Joey. So
weird, but I feel like it's weird that you're just supposed to know all the books beforehand.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, it was impossible to know. So the fact that Joey was able to read some of it was a lot, especially
Well,
for the
and then,
first day.
well, and then did you hear Eddie? Oh, I read that years ago. I'm like,
Right. Mhm.
what?
Yeah, making it worse for her.
Yeah, making it look like she was supposed to read it when she was 10.
Yeah.
No. Um,
Yeah.
okay, what would you rate it?
Well, I didn't say my high.
Oh,
Yeah, so classroom was my low and the high, I guess, I don't know. It was nice to see the gang have a hangout spot together
because
in
they
the Hell's
never do.
Kitchen. Yeah, because before it was kind of Graham's place with their dinners, but that wasn't really consistent. But I'm hoping this would be consistent at least for the time being. So it's
For the
nice just to
last
see them,
season.
yeah, as a group again of friends. So yeah. And then rating, I would say maybe like a 7. What about
Now,
you?
you have to remember, this is the season 6 opener episode.
Mhm. Yeah.
You're giving it a 7?
Well, I don't know, like 7.5 or 8. I don't know. A lot was going on, kind of.
You're giving it like a 7.5 in between.
Yeah.
Um, So for me, I would rate this because you have to remember season 6 we're coming into.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like as much as I downgraded it, I do feel like you can downgrade the episode but still give it a nice number, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because it means you had opinions, right?
Yeah.
I feel like if you go into an episode and you don't have opinions, that's probably bad. So even though I didn't really like a lot of it going on, I'll still give it an
Mm-hmm.
8 because, there was stuff going on.
Mm-hmm.
And for an opening, they didn't really leave you with a cliffhanger except for what's Joey gonna do. I mean, that was really the only cliffhanger.
Yeah.
And going into their final season, I'm surprised that they didn't give a big cliffhanger.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, so I would give it an 8 just because there was stuff going on. And it was nice to kind of see what everybody was doing. Even though
Mm-hmm.
they weren't always together, it was nice to see them just, see what they're gonna be doing in season 6, I guess.
Yeah.
And then yeah, seeing them all at the hangout that, hopefully they do hang out at. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that was nice too. Um, you know, I'd give it, a higher grade, but Dawson and Joey slept together, so
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, I'll give it an 8. And then who's your best and worst?
Well, the worst was Joey's professor. I think Hanson or something like that is his name. And then the best is Dawson, just because he was the only one that remembered Joey's birthday. Even though
Um,
his gift could have been better, but yeah.
yeah, poor gift. And he gets an F for the gift. Um, so for me, yeah, the worst was Joey's professor. I didn't know his name either. I just put her professor.
Yeah.
Um, and then because there was that other professor, so I just said her professor.
Right.
And then the best was I picked Joey because I couldn't think of anyone else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was hard.
Plus, she was the whole episode.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I just couldn't think of anyone for the best.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know. Everybody was just kind of even.
Yeah, mid, yeah.
Yeah. So,
Average.
but Joey was in the whole episode, seemed like.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, what's the next episode?
Episode 2, the song remains the same.
Mm.
So I'm guessing like things don't really change, I guess.
All right. Wonder what that's about. Guess I'll find out.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Thanks for listening.
Yep, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Duo Chat. If you want to chime in with your opinion about the episode and the show we discussed, you can email us at duochatpodcast@gmail.com. And to keep up with updates about the podcast, you can follow us at Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Duo Chat Podcast. And give us a review wherever you listen to podcasts. We would really appreciate it.